Hi folks, I'm down here today on the out farm, about to make a start in concreting in this first panel, which will be the start of our new cattle handling facilities down here. As you can see, I've already made a start. I have holes dug and I've just finished pulling a line there between two concrete blocks along the line of the gable of the old barn, just to give me a visual aid when I'm trying to line things up. I pulled a second line here between this old gate and the remains of a cattle trough over there. It does the job, in fairness. I'm sure there's plenty of builders that would frown at what I'm at, but this is only a rough visual aid. I've tried to keep the line, to the best of my ability, 130 centimetres away from the existing barn, which will leave plenty of room to walk up and down the chute. And if there's ever a herd test being done down here, and you might have a vet here and you're walking up and down past them putting cattle into the crush, you'll have plenty of room. So I thought I'd leave plenty of space. This will be the first time we'll ever have a cattle crush where you'll be able to access the cattle from both sides. Anyway, as you can see here at the intersection of these two lines, I think now looking at it, that's a pretty good 90-degree angle there, so things must have lined up pretty well. First job to do now is get the water out of the bottom of this hole, set probably this panel onto it, and as you can see from over here, the cement, the builder's gravel and the cement mixer are sitting ready to go. So once I ever get everything lined up and sitting pretty square and level, I think we'll be able to make a good start. I'm just after finishing concreting in this first panel. I didn't get the process of mixing the concrete videoed because, as usual, it started to rain and I'm working with quite an expensive camera here, so the camera went back into the tractor and I just continued on. But I'll give you a look now at how things turned out. As you can see, we're well lined up there with the line that I had pulled earlier, and as we go in here, I'll be able to show you that things turned out pretty well. I'll take this spirit level here. As you can see in the front post, we're sitting as good as I'm going to get it, even though this is a cheap spirit level out of Lidl. Going to the top of the bar. Once again, I'm not going to argue about that. On the back post here, we have a magnetic Stanley spirit level. Hope you can see that. We're sitting as perfect as what I can get it. I know I'm cheating here a bit. I have a cattle trough up against it just to keep it as straight as possible until the concrete sets. But as you can see, if I pull this spirit level around the other side, there we are again. Hope that's focused on the camera. I'm happy with the way things turned out. The couple of bits of rebar that I had welded to the bottom of these posts was a huge advantage. When I set it in the hole, it practically balanced itself in position, which allowed me to work away and get the concrete around it. Otherwise, I think I would have needed help. But it worked out okay. I'm down here again, as usual. I'm one of these people that likes working on his own. Peace and quiet down here, nobody to disturb you. And it's always good when you get a good result. So all we want now is concrete to set, and that should be it, done and dusted. I have another hole to dig the other side, and of course I have the panel to concrete in there. So I'm left now to wash out the cement mixer and tidy things up and head for home. So that's all for now. Good luck. I'm just getting ready here to mix another batch of concrete. As you can see, I have the head gate here in position. That's just roughly tied to make sure I have the right spacing at the front of the crush. I have all my measurements done now. I've measured the diagonals from post to post. It's turning out at 222 centimetres each way, so we're sitting good and square here. As you can see from the spirit level here again, everything's sitting just perfect here, ready for concrete. Down at the bottom of the post here you might be able to see the feet or the bits of rebar that I had welded onto the bottom of these posts. Real advantage when you're trying to balance the panel on your own to get everything set up. I wouldn't be able to do it on my own without those bits of rebar that I'd welded on. So that's it now. That's measurements done, everything's sitting plumb, everything's sitting level, and as I say, the diagonals are even spot on. So next job now, let's get the cement mixer up and running and get another batch of concrete mixed. As you can see here from the mix I'm using, it's a sand and gravel mix. I'll be using 5 shovelfuls of the sand and gravel to 1 shovelful of cement. People may regard that as a bit too strong, but considering it's holding in the front of a cattle or crush, that it'll be required. So I'll get this thing cranked up. So this first batch here is almost mixed. As I say, I'm mixing it 5 shovelfuls of gravel and sand to 1 shovelful of cement. I think that's 20 shovelfuls of mix and 4 of cement on the cement mixer there at the minute. It's turning over nicely. I'm leaving it pretty stiff as I want it to set pretty quickly around the post. That's the first batch of concrete now tipped out on top of the cow mat. 24 shovelfuls. Looks pretty big when it's tipped out like that there, especially for a small cement mixer, but they're seriously handy in fairness to them. As you can see here, looking into the cement mixer, there's absolutely no concrete stuck to the sides or stuck to the back of the cement mixer. Some people seem to make a terrible mess when they're mixing a bit of concrete. I see people on YouTube demonstrating how to do it right, how to do it wrong, and it's simple at the back of things, to tell you the truth. Put a bit of water into your cement mixer first of all and let it rotate. It stops whatever you're shoveling on next from sticking to it. Then I usually would put in, as I say, 5 shovelfuls of the gravel and sand mix, and then a shovelful of cement. Let that mix, then another 5 shovelfuls of gravel and sand, and then another shovelful of cement. And if you need a bit of water, add it gradually as you go along. This idea of throwing everything in before you ever put in water is a recipe for disaster. All that happens then is your concrete sticks to the sides and the back of your cement mixer. And the opposite to that is people that put on far too much water to start with. You have a dirty, sloppy mix the whole way through. So it just pays, like everything else, to take your time and do the thing right. It's a trial and error, and I suppose we all had to learn along the way. But anyway, I'll get on now with shoveling this concrete around these 2 posts, and I'll show you how things turned out. That's now the first batch of concrete used up. As you can see, I have round the back post filled in and smoothed off there just using the back of the shovel. With what concrete was left over, I actually used it here in the front post. As you can see, the hole that I dug originally was not in the right place, so this hole ended up almost twice the size that I really intended. As you can see there, I threw in a decent sized lump of a stone. That's just really to save the concrete. And for anybody that is digging holes like this here, whether it's to put in a cattle crush or even to hang a gate post, don't be scared of using stones and along with your concrete. It will save on the amount of concrete that you have to mix, and it will just end up as strong as if the whole thing had been complete concrete. So I have to go around now and make a second batch, smaller than the first batch, and probably maybe 15 shovelfuls will do me this time rather than 20. And I'll throw probably some stones in it around this here as I go along. So I'll get on with it now before we lose light here this evening, and I'll show you what the final results look like. As you can see now, I have the front posts concreted in and everything's sitting nicely. As you can probably see here in the distance, the sun's starting to go down. There's some nice colour there in the sky. I've just washed out the cement mixer, starting to pack things up. I'll be heading for home now in a minute, but I'll just show you how things have turned out today. I'll get the spirit level again and go here to the front of the crush. Put the spirit level on top of both front posts here. And as you can see, that's pretty good. And it's exactly the same on top of the front two bars. Around the back of the crush here, back to this magnetic spirit level. And as you can see, just like the first day, things are sitting as perfect as I can get them. Turn it around the side again. And to be fair, this here ever focuses. There we are. That's pretty good also. So, same as before, all I have to do now is wait for the concrete to set. And I'll start on further back in the crush then. That's really the first part of the cattle crush set in place now. I'm going to, of course, put a bar on top of those two posts there at the back to brace them. And when that's braced at the back and the head gate is bolted into place in the front, it should be a good strong job. Overall, I'm happy so far how things have turned out, and hopefully it'll continue in the same manner as we go on. So that's it for now. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again.